Good afternoon, Brian here, Swain Racing. Hope you're excited today. We're going to be doing the Turbo Hydramatic 350 today. We're going to tear apart, have a look inside, so let's get started. Okay, I've gone ahead and taken the 4 bolts off the extension housing. Pretty simple. I've removed it already. I've removed all the pan bolts except for one. I've removed the pump bolts. If you look here, the pump has 8 bolts on this one. There's 2 threaded holes here. You can put a pump puller in there, or what I do is I just cut off a 1/4 inch bolt, cut the head off of it, stick it in the hole, take a bolt, 3/8 course bolt, wind it in, and that should push the pump out for you. Don't use air, use a ratchet so you don't damage anything. As I say, I've already gone ahead and done that. Pump should come out of there. We'll pull that out. I'll pull that apart at another, once we get everything else apart. Then you've got a set of intermediate clutches here. You can go ahead and pull them out. There's 3 intermediate clutches. Okay, I've gone ahead and turned the transmission over. We'll go ahead and pull the one pump bolt, or the one pan bolt, sorry, that's left in there. Let's keep the bucket. There are all the parts in. You'll have a filter in the bottom here, 2 screws, they'll come right off. Things like the filter, etc., you can go ahead and throw that in the pan. Now you have your kick down lever here. You just take a screwdriver in there. Go ahead and pull that clip out. I'll go ahead and pull that off. Then we're going to go ahead and take all the bolts for the valve body out. One bolt has a detent for the shift linkage. Then you have the S-clip that attaches the manual valve to the linkage. Go ahead and remove this plate. You'll have a separator plate here. Now there is going to be balls underneath here in the passages. You have a gasket on each side of the separator plate. Now this is the servo for the... Okay, at that point we can go ahead and turn out or pull out the piston for the fly servo for the band. Then we can go ahead and unhook that band from the case. You can go ahead and pull those 2 drums out. This is your 2nd gear band. This is a direct drum. A set of clutches in it. This is the forward drum, and there's a bearing in between the two drums. There's a washer in between the forward drum. It's brass. Now this, in on this shaft, there is a very small snap ring. And they can be very hard to get out. You have to use a set of 90-degree snap ring pliers. And it's a very small snap ring, and sometimes it'll go flying on you, but I got lucky and it came right out. Another washer. We've got the drive shell. There's another washer in behind it. These are brass washers, by the way. Okay, next is the low reverse support, and there's a very large snap ring in here. You go ahead and just get a screwdriver in there and give it a little pull. You'll be able to grab it and pull it out. If it butts up against what's called an anti-clunk spring, the end of that snap ring should butt up against that anti-clunk spring. That's a large snap ring. Next, what we want to do is get this support out. If you look down in the case in this area here, you'll see the anti-clunk spring. If you put a screwdriver on the end of it and give it a good whack, that'll release that support out of there, and you'll be able to take that support out. That's a low reverse support. It has a race in it, a one-way clutch in there. This is the anti-clunk spring. It goes in the case like this. Then you have a set of your reaction carrier. And there is another washer goes between this and the output shaft. Lots of washers. Then you'll have your set of reverse clutches. On the output shaft, there's a speedometer gear. There's a small clip on there that you have to release to get that gear off. And that'll slide off. This is a small clip. Then that output shaft will come right in there. And there's also another bearing on the back of the output shaft. And then there's 4 balls in the bottom of here. You have one here, one here, and they're rubber. You have another one here, and one right here. So there's 4 of them. You have a modulator, one bolt with a bracket that holds the modulator on. Now this modulator's been in there for quite a while. Usually they'll slide right out of there. can see this one's not coming out that easy. Lots of rust in there. Now there is a valve in behind there. As you can see, it fell right out, but inside the case, that valve just sits right in there. It goes in the case like so. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the clutches out of the direct and forward drum. Just a snap ring in here. Come right out. Set of clutches. Now there are more clutches in the forward than there are in the direct, so keep them separate. We'll take this piston out of here after. This is the forward drum. Another snap ring. If you look at them, the forward and the direct snap rings are the same. And there's your forward set of clutches. Now this wavy steel that's in here, that's to help cushion the application of the clutches when you put it in gear, so it doesn't really bang in. We're going to eliminate that on the racing transmission. Okay, I've set the pump on the extension housing. Go ahead and take the 5 bolts out. Make note of the bolts. They are marked different than the valve body bolts. This is a spring pack. Now on some transmissions, these springs are all separate and they'll come off. They're a little bit different than this spring pack. They're attached to the plate. You have the intermediate piston with 2 lip seals. You have a gasket, pump gasket. And the no-ringer on the pump body itself. On here you have 5 rings, 3 large, 2 small. And you have a thrust washer here also, which has a big tang on it. It sits in the pump here. You split the 2 halves. This is the pump stator. You have a set of gears in here, and there's usually a mark on them. Usually the mark goes up. You want to take the gears out. You can see here there is a mark on there on the outer gear and on the inner gear. So that always goes up. When you inspect your pump, you want to look in here for gouging, scoring. Same with the stator where the gears ride. And then depending on which spring retainers they have in them, I have a couple of different tools that I use to push the spring retainers down so we can get the snap rings out of them. So depending on the size, that determines which tool I'll use.